Hi everybody, welcome to TIA Now. I'm Clarence Reynolds. NFVI orchestration has followed a carrier-centric path while web-scale automation remains focused on simplicity. Adam Dunston is VP of SDN NFV Engineering at CenturyLink, and he joins us with a look at their hybrid solution. Adam, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
So I was in your session here at ONS 2018, and you were talking about CenturyLink's new NFVI orchestration tool, domain orchestration tool.
Yeah.
Tell us the main points that you were getting across in the session.
Yeah, so you talked about some of these things already. It's about simplification and velocity. And so really, firstly, it's worth kind of considering, what are you doing when you're doing NFVI? And it seems to be very complicated, but it isn't really. So when you're orchestrating NFVI, what you're doing is basically creating the thing that used to physically exist. So when you do the normal network stuff, there's already some device, a physical piece of hardware, and then you go and you orchestrate or control that to bring it into the network and put services on it. When you do NFVI, it doesn't exist yet because it's virtual. And so what NFVI orchestration does is create that. It has the effect of doing what the guy used to do when he came in and plugged the box in, and he plugged all the ports into all the different places. You just do all that virtually in software, and all of a sudden it's there, and then you carry on like you used to before.
What is the value of hybrid orchestration?
Yeah.
You mentioned that a lot.
So we use this term hybrid orchestration to kind of show that we're somewhere halfway between what the web scale guys are doing and halfway between what the carrier methodology has been in the past. One of the key things that's really different about what we did is that in the generalized products in the marketplace, what the orchestration system wants to do is be in charge of everything. So it wants to be the controlling entity that manages every single thing inside the network. But the reality is that there's all these people inside our business, and something goes wrong on a Sunday morning, and they don't go to the orchestration system to go and fix it, they go into the device and they change it. And so now the thing gets out of synchronization. And it's a very real problem that they just simply will not be synchronized. So we can't get our people to always go in through the orchestrator. We also can't deal with this synchronization of so many elements inside the network. So we changed that and we said the orchestration system should just start it up, know that it's started up, and move on from there. And then we use a different system to keep track of what's running. And if we want to know what's supposed to be there and what isn't there, we basically just compare the two. So we'll go and say, hey, Victor, which is our orchestration system, we say, hey, Victor, what do you think you started? And then we have another piece of software we call Elvira. Everyone's got a little name. We ask Elvira to say, what do you know there? And Elvira knows everything inside the network because she's a woman, she knows everything, right? So she knows everything inside the network. So we just compare the two together and we figure out what we've got.
I learned from your presentation, Victor, Jane, Elvira.
Yeah, they've all got names. I can tell you where they came from. Victor's a creepy little Matryoshka doll. That's another thing. It's another story.
So, are there barriers that are in the way of us having full NFV deployment? Where are we in that process?
Yeah, there's nothing stopping moving forward, right? There are still problems to be solved as we march down the path. I think what has made it kind of slow to start is functionally these systems got kind of overloaded with stuff. It's like, we could do all these things, so let's try and build a system that did it. And what we did at CenturyLink when I took over this project is we said, we've got all these other virtualization systems that run web servers and all that other stuff. We don't have to rebuild that. We've got a cloud business that already runs clouds. We don't have to rebuild that. We just have to build the thing to run NFVI loads. And the thing that's distinct about these are virtual machines that do packet forwarding. So they're really different than the rest of the stuff, right? So put simply, an NFVI workload doesn't have very much compute horsepower. Well, actually that's not true. It might have a bit of compute horsepower, but it usually doesn't have very much memory. It has very little disk storage, but it has lots of network connectivity. And so it's quite different from running a web service where you build a database where you've got to have compute and lots of disk and all these other things going on. It's really a different profile. So we built this system to fit that profile, and in doing so we're able to really simplify it, and that's how we've got velocity in deployment.
With the characteristics that you just described, where are we as it relates to reliability?
Yeah, tough problem, right? So So reliability has a lot of different aspects, and I think one of the things that the cloud guys have done that I think is going to take a little to get used to is that people like Google, for example, nothing has 100% uptime. Everything has downtime, and they purposefully take things out of service. And in fact, Netflix is famous for having something called Chaos Monkey. I don't know if you've ever heard of this thing called Chaos Monkey. It basically runs around their system tearing stuff down. And it does it automatically to go and figure out whether the systems are built redundantly. And so this is where we need to head. The carrier systems are very static because they're built on these hardware boxes, and so you'd buy a pair, right? And now that would give me redundancy. I'd run some protocols between them. But all this virtualization stuff, they come and go. And so we can recreate that style of carrier redundancy quite easy, which is, I'll build two and I'll connect them together. And we can get that level of redundancy. But this next level of redundancy of not 2 by 2, but many, and the ability to tear up and down, that's out ahead of us.
Why is open source, since we're here at ONS, so important to the innovation strategy at CenturyLink?
We have all sorts of things, right? So it's just a piece part of the whole exercise. And so there are things that are open source, there are things that are closed source, there are things that we buy from vendors that they open source, there are places where we buy source code. So we have all sorts of things associated with it. I think some things are very well suited to open source because you get an effect of, more than your own. So for example, the reason we're open sourcing Victor is because we've had an interest from some of our customers, and we even talked to the people in ONAP and said, hey, this is kind of like an ONAP Lite, are you interested? They said, yeah, we're interested in getting this out there. And so we'll get it out there, we'll start supporting, other people will start working on it, and we'll get an effect. Other people will have the benefit of our work, but we'll also get the benefit of their changes into the platform. And so to some degree, you get an expanded base of support for your platform. And often when that happens, you get these unintended things, like someone uses it for something you didn't even know about, and you go, wow, I could use it for that. And I really wasn't going to develop for that purpose because I don't have a project that's budgeted in that path, but since this other person who used it did it that way, now I've got kind of a free effect. So it's kind of almost a way when you think about it of, you've written a bunch of open source, you own this thing. If I go out and I make it open source and other people add to it, I kind of get paid in kind for my work. So some things fit very well, some things don't fit very well. We still have stuff that's closed source and we've written ourselves, and it has magic that's competitive differentiation for CenturyLink, and it's never going to leave the premise.
Well, Adam, I so appreciate you joining us today. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Thanks.
And thank you for joining us as well. You can see more videos on our website at tianow.org and on our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.